Why is safety a priority? So looking through the lens of adult attachment theory, why is safety a priority after the discovery of betrayal? So humans are wired to survive and develop in secure attachment relationships. It's how we're created. We need that. We know that biologically. It's wired into us. And so when we even perceive that one of our primary attachment relationships is under threat, we are going to have this primal survival response that comes up. Think fight, flight, or freeze. So it's going to trigger down in us that primal threat response because that's how we're wired. Now let's shift slightly and look through the lens of developmental neurobiology. Now this gets a little bit clunky and complicated. Bear with me here and I think it'll make sense to you. So the clunky phrase here is that implicit memory, so that's a memory system in your mind that's largely non-conscious. It's very fast, very automatic, okay? Your implicit memory connects relational experiences and neurophysiological states of functioning. So here's what that means. How my brain is functioning and connected to my body, what I'm feeling in my body, and how that affects what my brain is processing. My implicit memory connects that to relational experiences. So in other words, we function in relationships based on patterns we've experienced. So if something relationally reminds me of a past relationship, then unless I've done a lot of work, I'm going to shift into the neurophysiological state of functioning tied to that past relationship. So just as an example, if someone had a mother who was very, very enmeshing, no respect for where she ends and you begin, say it's a young boy and mother was very, very, very enmeshing. In adulthood, when a woman approaches, even if she's not approaching to be enmeshing, he might experience that as an enmeshment threat and go into thinking and feeling state of the past. What that means is, in a state of threat, we often regress to more primitive strategies of safety seeking. So instead of having my full brain online, specifically the higher functioning cortical functions, we're driven by that hyper-aware amygdala, the limbic state. So here comes the woman. She's just coming because she's my partner. But if I've got this memory of enmeshed mom, now my limbic system gets turned on and I go into this threat mode. And now, rather than functioning from my frontal lobe, my limbic system is driving the bus. It leads us to this next point here. When the brain is experiencing traumatic threat, the part necessary for the grief processes aren't even online. As I've said many times before, if you've done many of my webinars before, you've heard me say this. Grief is a luxury for the brain that knows it's safe. So put this in the context of someone who has just discovered that their partner has been unfaithful, maybe even repeatedly. Move them forward in time. Now when their partner approaches, maybe even if they're approaching in safety, their brain's not going to necessarily experience it that way until a safety can be established. Then they might be able to set aside these limbic dominant strategies and be in the relationship with the whole brain online again.